all good to go. Thank you very
Sure.
much. All right. Thank you very much for coming to the regional coaches meeting. Yeah, we want to discuss what we're going to do from now until the inter-regional tournament. First of all, congratulations to all of the individuals here, Peter, Daniel, Josh, on your positions and your assistant roles. Um, yeah. Um, And yeah, moving on to the the agenda. We'll start with. Can we start with five, Hannah, or should we start with one? We'll start with five. Sorry, the fifth one is the southern region. So just an update on that. As I was saying to Peter earlier, we had the southern region trials this weekend. And while there were few people at trials, what we're going to do to fill out the team is we're going to prioritize players from the southern region first. So yeah, there's some players that couldn't make it to either the trials for various reasons, whether it was exams, this or that. Um, yeah, so those players have been showing potential after speaking to the coach, and they probably would be keen to go to the trials. So we'll invite them for signing up, and that gives us a chance to actually see them. And that leads to the next people that we'll get in that team would probably be people that are eligible but couldn't make their own regional trials. So there's some players from the northern region, for example, who couldn't make their regional trials, so they'll get a chance there. And then finally, the people will look at third type of person we'll look at, including in the team, is someone that we've seen before, but could do with a second chance. But with that said, these individuals can also enter the regional team. We did make space in the selections for that. So let's say someone pulls out or someone isn't pulling their weight anymore, then we can get then that's where the people in the peripheries can sort of step in. So that's their primary entrance, and then their secondary entrance would be being third in the queue after Southern Region players first that didn't make trials, then other regions players that didn't make trials, and then people that we think deserve a second chance. So yeah, that's how it's going to look. So once again, identify those players. Um, Peter brought up an interesting, valid point about sending stronger players to those regions, just so that things sort of balance out. And for now, let's not do that because the second day of the interregional tournaments is going to be a mix and match day anyway. Um, just so that we can sort of level the playing field and also see how people adapt to playing with new people as well and people from other regions. So yeah, that's basically where we stand with the Southern region. We'll probably announce a team sometime in the next week or next 2 weeks. We just need to identify who's who in the zoo, who's eligible, and how we're going to fill up that team. So that's what's going to be taking most of our time there. Okay. Any other questions on the Southern region before we move on? Cool. Cool. I haven't seen a thumbs down emoji. Shout out, Tima. Show me how you do that. Okay, cool. Moving on to the next point. Oh, okay, maybe it's very easy. Moving on to the next point. Um, the interregional tournament. Leading up to that, we're talking about preparation as a team. So preparation as a team. Um, and yeah, what we need from you guys as coaches is to organize at least one regional session where the whole region like practices as a team, at least one per region. I know that the eastern region are looking to get three, which is very good. I think that's first prize. The more you see each other, the better. But I also understand that there are restrictions and complications with transport um, when it comes to the Western region, mainly Stellenbosch and UCT, or not Stellenbosch and UCT, Stellenbosch and Cape Town, because there are other players in Cape Town that aren't in the university. But yes, just one session where you train together, just to look for combinations. The key is that you want to be able to show that you can work together and adapt. So yeah, that's why one of those sessions are necessary. And then if we could get 6 sectional training sessions, at least six, you should definitely be getting more than six. And by sectional, I mean like Cape Town is one section of the region, and Stellenbosch is another section of the region. So yeah, Pietermaritzburg, Durban, yeah, those are also sections. So yeah, get at least six of those between now and the interregional tournament. So that's three this year, three next year, or maybe four this year, two next year. But yeah, see how many you can do. Um, so yeah, that's how I want, or those are like the bare minimums for preparation on the field as a team. Um, what Dan, in our discussion last week, Dan shared that he basically does like an hour session before the donkeys training with under 24 players. Those counts as sectional trainings. So I'm happy with that. Um, so it doesn't have to be like a long thing. Like, yeah, those can be there. So yeah, if you can just log these things with like a picture on the group and a date and attendance register as well. We'll send you the attendance register thing. So yeah, if you could just keep track of that, that would be good, because you also want to see who shows up to these things, because I think, yeah, that sort of shows your commitment. Like we say in the campaign, that the most important step, the most important thing to do is show up. So yeah, we want to reward people that show up. Okay, cool. Any questions on team preparation?
Hi, Tipple.
How's it,
Just
Peter?
a question regarding timeline, especially with university timelines, and I'm sure the other regions will perhaps experience similar difficulties. Right now, we're all prepping for nationals, and after that, it is the end of exams, and pretty much all our students, all our players are students, and that means that they will be dispersing and going on holiday pretty much directly after nationals, which means that there's very little time for us to organize anything concrete this year. Have you taken this limitation into consideration? And if so, what would you advise us to do in order to make those uh, make those requirements before the tournament? You're muted if
Sorry. So yes, I initially started with wanting at least three of these regional training sessions. Um, but yeah, so then after the discussion last week with Justin, I realized that okay, it's actually difficult to do because of nationals. So then I took that down to one. I guess the 6 sectional training sessions, especially with you guys, would also be difficult because we'll sort of start just as university starts. So yeah, I'll actually have to take that into consideration. Is there how are your timelines looking? Is there nothing you can do? Yeah, because people will come back when in Stellenbosch late
so.
Jan.
They'll probably want to come back right before orientation week. So I'm actually not entirely sure how that lines up. I haven't checked the schedule yet. I just know that this year is going to be really difficult. At least in theory, we could use some of the time between now and nationals to work in a session or two. But I
Yeah,
do think that um, since there's such a big overlap between our players and our nationals team, they're most likely going to rather push for mixed trainings so that we're better prepared for nationals, which I guess is also a good way to uh, to train regardlessly. But it's not as an under 24 team; it's as a nationals team.
Yeah. So maybe because like Marties are a team that's competing at nationals, like donkeys are a team, you can do like an hour before your normal training, that is wild dogs training, um, and then you can have your training, or like an hour afterwards, and that way you can sort of build up your sectional things, and then try to get one or two in, maybe like a week, the week before, people get back to O week. So maybe see if people can come a week earlier to train. Come to campus a week earlier to train, as an option. Does that help?
Cool, we'll try that. Thank you, Tim.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Daniel, and then Marcus.
I can go first. I think you had input on the beta thing.
Shua.
So with regards to what Peter was saying, and it's a very it's a poignant concern that he brings up with timelines. But I think this is a really good opportunity um, for coaches to express the level of. Um, I think this is something that we've tried to mention at every training, at every trial. Is sacrifice is going to be needed. Um, so if that means you're training for mixed as normal, and your Sunday morning is open, and that requires the wild dogs to gather in that region and have a Sunday morning practice from 11 to 12 or from 9 to 10, whatever that might be. It's going to require the wild dogs to do a little bit more than other players that are just playing mixed, because from the minute you register and you attend the trial, you're no longer just a mixed player, you're a wild dog. So I definitely think some suggestion was could definitely be worked with if you guys are able to do it. But I think also something that could be considered is asking the players just to give a little bit more. Um, and yeah, say, look, my Sunday's free. Cool, we're gonna do it Sundays. We're gonna do it for an hour, 45 minutes, really focused. But I think, yeah, sacrifice is going to be needed from all parties, and the coaches are sacrificed. So I think the players should, at least to a certain extent, give a little bit more.
Yeah, sacrifice is key. So yeah, maybe sacrifice. Yeah, one day. Maybe stay a little bit longer before going home. See what you can do. But yeah, keep asking about options, and let's see if we can work something out. All right. Dan.
Yeah, well, so I had two questions. The one was, do you have guidelines or like ideas of structure and that sort of thing that you want us to run at these sessions, or what's the vibe there?
Okay, for that first question, I'm glad you asked. I am, as we speak, just scrolling to find the Wild Dogs playbook. Um, so yeah, as I mentioned in the meeting on Monday,
Hmm.
um, what would be ideal, or one of the things you could do to prep your Wild Dogs the best is by giving them um, the Wild Dogs playbook, right?
Yeah.
And how I see the playbook isn't structures that I want you to follow constantly, and I don't want you to play the V stack where you cut from the front of the stack and you go. I see the playbook as potential set plays, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it doesn't have to be this doesn't have to define the way you play, but if you are able to run some of these sets, right? What
Hmm.
you're doing is you're conditioning players to like start from a certain structure and then work off one another in a coordinated fashion. And the long term plan is if we're able to implement these types of structures, like on like a point by point basis, we're able to build a little bit further than what we or build on what we have here, if that makes sense. So I'll send you the playbook. And then just fundamentals, catching, throwing, cutting, actor. So most of the stuff that we saw at the training camp and the trials, just reiterate and reinforce those things, and then you can add like some of your own stuff. But try to reiterate and reinforce fundamentals. Try to use a playbook, and then yeah, you can sort of get creative beyond that.
Awesome. Do you have any documentation from the trials? I can't remember everything that we did in the training camps. I don't know if you have anything written down that we can have a look at it again.
Hannah has a hand up.
Yeah.
Chris.
Oof. So yeah, we have the player info pack that was sent out for the training camps that has a whole list of
Yeah.
some of the drills that were done, and then also there are some of those are illustrated. What's it called? Altiplays. So players can look at animations. Yeah, so I can resend that to all the coaches so you can use that as well. And then also just the schedule from training camps as well.
Yeah.
There were slightly different. Sorry. Yeah, those were slightly different to the training camps. So yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, forgot about those. Thank you. Um, and then the other question I had was because I have a similar concern because we have a lot of high school kids, which is a very different problem to Peter, but like a lot of them are probably going to be traveling in December. So I know it's not ideal because you're not getting that like inter-player sort of training going, but what about sort of virtual type training things where either you have a time where everybody's doing a set like fitness routine or something like that, or where like people are, you have something they should do and record themselves and then would that sort of count, or is that, do you want to sort of have a strict like sectional trainings being people getting together and playing together? I don't have a preference. I'm just checking if that is, yeah, how you feel about that.
That's not a bad idea. Sorry about that. Yeah, not a bad idea. I think, how do I put it? Yeah, if you can find a way to all do it together virtually, yeah, that could also work. But we will also be talking about what you can do as individuals. So we probably want to separate, like we want to have things for when you're traveling and when you're alone, and that we'll discuss now. Um, but if you can find a way to, I know that you had like some Discord sessions planned where you'd probably like sit down and think and talk about things. I think you can count those sessions as sectional training sessions. I'll give you one of those if you want to do like a watch party or something. That should be okay. But yeah, what we want to do is we also want to prioritize individual training or training in pods on holiday and stuff like that.
Cool. Thank you for the clarification. It's amazing.
Wait, say that again.
I said thanks for the clarification. That was good.
Okay,
Chef.
sure beans. Moving on to the next thing, individuals. Um, so individual training, what we want to do is we firstly want to implement player improvement plans. Um, so yeah, Eastern region, you guys will probably be a little bit familiar with the player improvement plan since we had an incident. Well, not an incident like it was like a bad thing, but players have been very curious about why they didn't make the team. Um, and what we want to do is we want to give those players and also the players that are on the team a clear document that shows them where they can improve, and that is the player improvement plan. And where you guys come in as regional coaches is you guys are going to have to what I need you to do is like walk with them on this journey of player improvement, and then I will, once they make the national team, we will use these player improvement plans just to sort of progress their or keep track of their progress, and also keep pushing them further. Yeah, if that makes sense. So yeah, player improvement plans. Marcus has been working on a template that we'll be using. Um, Marcus, do you quickly want to run through the key elements of that template so that we can just quickly assess and then decide if there's anything else we can add?
Just to double check that, was this the plan we spoke about on Saturday on the bus?
Yes, that's the one.
The one pager.
Yeah, the one pager. We can add the other player improvement plan that we had at the beginning of the year, maybe a little bit later, but let's just
Okay.
start with the one pager.
Okay. So basically the structure of the document. I do apologize ahead of time. Excuse me, ahead of time. There are a lot of players, and I have to do this for what 90 something odd players. So please, a little bit of grace there. Yeah, showstopper.
You won't have to do it for all the players. I think what we need to do is get regional coaches to help also develop these things. So we may
Okay,
need to
cool.
like proofread them, but we're going to need like help from all, because I can't expect you to do 90 something players. It's not going to work for one
Okay, cool.
person
So
to do that.
what I'll do
Yeah,
is I'll send 3 of these to each of the regional coaches, and then they can work off it and do it themselves.
yes,
Does that
yes.
work?
Just quickly walk us through the basic structure there.
Okay, yeah. So the basic structure is the first area is you basically have areas of strength, tangibles. So this is basically outlining the player's physical strengths, whether it be speed, leaping ability, flexibility, etc. The second area is areas of improvement, with regards to tangibles, so areas they can improve on in terms of their physical attributes. The second area, or the second section, will be intangibles or soft skills. Similar structure. You have areas of strength and areas of improvement. Now, the soft skills intangibles will be things like motor. Motor is basically someone's ability to just keep working or grinding, for lack of a better word.
Grit.
Grit, yes, essentially, yeah. Grit is a great word. Another soft skill will be communication. Another soft skill will be connection. So these are all things that will fall under intangibles or soft skills. Leadership is one of them. So again, similar process, areas of strength, areas of improvement. And the last section will be technical proficiency. These are all skills that are required to play Ultimate. So this will be IQ, throwing, cutting, catching, etc. And same structure, areas of strength, areas of improvement. And these are just like short outlines of the most important things that the player is really good at, and then things that the player needs to improve on, to make themselves a better player as quickly and efficiently as possible. And then the final section will be something that all the coaches for that region and then Tsepo will have a discussion on what the coaches would like to see from that player. So these are 3 to 4 points that the coaches want this player to implement leading up to, and you want the player to display once they get to the interregional tournament. And then there is one more here. Just give me a second. And then the last section is what role you want the player to play, or what role you can see the player having on the team. And that is not long, but it can be, I don't know, type of what your opinion is on this, but we'd like it to be as targeted as possible so the player knows exactly what we see them using their strengths for on the team. So as much as possible, make that very, very targeted. And then that's basically the structure.
Yeah, sounds good to me. In terms of roles, I'd probably want them to be like if you are firstly O-line, D-line as one part of your role. Then the other parts would be like handler, receiver,
Mm-hmm.
and then within handler, you either like an auxiliary handler or like your a pickup
Central handler.
handler. Yeah. And then for cutter, I'd want an initiating cutter, a continuation cutter, and then potentially maybe like the area that you're targeting to the area that you're looking to work in. So like if you're like
Yeah.
an initiating cutter, but you go deep, I'm looking for like taller people to be there if we want to cut from the back as a first time cutter or something. So yeah, those are just some ideas that I'm spitballing.
Cool.
But
Yeah,
yeah, those are
that's all in here.
yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't really see anything. Yeah.
So let me just quickly run through it. It's like 4 sentences. So one
Yeah.
of the players here has handler defender with the main role of denying handlers the disc in the handler space, forcing them out. That's on defense. And then on offense, a deep threat with the ability to keep the handlers and cutters connected with well-timed undercuts that help generate flow by placing handlers in power position.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think I forgot to mention like defensive positions. So like where we'd want you in a zone, for example, if we want
Okay.
you like and if it's person D, then maybe like your handler defender, for example, because that's also a specialized skill. Not anyone can defend handlers and play shutdown D there. So yeah, those are just some roles on D. But yeah, these are just some descriptors that we can use to sort of just inform, not inform, but give a name to where we see players fitting on the field. And what's nice about that is once you have like these types of roles, if we're wrong, we can sort of adjust, you know. But if we don't have anything, then like there's nothing. But yeah, those are the ideas for the player improvement plan that we're going to draft. So yeah, what do you guys think as regional coaches? Are you guys happy with that? Do you want some more? Do you want some less? Is it too much? What are your thoughts and impressions? Would you be able to help with this as well? Go ahead.
Cool. I think it's amazing. um, yeah, I think especially for the players that didn't make the team, I think it also reduces a bit of the awkwardness because I've had a couple of players come up to me like, "Why didn't I make the team?" Um, yeah, so I think like having a formal way of like handing it over to them would be fantastic. Um, Definitely keen to contribute to that. I had an idea to help creating them a bit quicker and a bit more consistent.
Yeah.
So you can build custom GPTs with ChatGPT where you can like give it the format and the tone that you guys like. Let's say Marcus makes 10, you can feed those 10 to the GPT, and then you can also give it then a format that it follows. So like when you output the data, output it like this, use the tone presented in XYZ, and then you just need a set way for coaches to provide the information, and then they can provide it in bullet point format. And then if you put those bullet points into that custom GPT, it will take that and output the document in the structure that you want it in, which can then just be copy pasted into a template and then maybe checked by you and Sepal. I mean, you and Marcus. It's stuff we do when we have to give feedback and stuff with our company because you have to give like span feedback, and it's super consistent. It works really well. I think if you give it good input, then it's really good at matching tone. And something I saw today is it's also really good at taking, if somebody's being like super negative, it's good at like taking that and making it positive. Like not positive, not necessarily not positive, but like putting it in like a motivational way rather than just being like, you suck at something, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, softens the blow a bit.
Okay, sounds good. Um, I think, would you be able to take charge of that?
Mm-hmm.
What we'll do is we'll give us what good input looks like,
Okay.
and then we'll formalize that input, and then yeah, we can just pump it through the the GPT
Mm-hmm.
to get that going. Would that work on your side, Dan?
Yeah. So I think
Okay.
if you guys can just give me some that you've like if you maybe just do 10 or something like it. It doesn't need to be a substantial amount. I think at least 10. And then I can also then ask it what sort of information is going to help it. And that's the weird thing about this is it's like super interactive. It's very cool. But yeah, I'm happy to get that going as well.
Okay. So Marcus, Dan, if you could just work together with that, and I'll just check in periodically. Marcus, you said you had three of them?
Currently, I've got three. Yeah, all Eastern region. So I just need to do three for each region and
Yeah,
then send them through, and then that should be good.
perfect. Do you know when you'd be able to get them all done?
Today's Monday,
Yes.
latest Wednesday by the end of business, Dan.
Okay, cool. I'll check in on Thursday, just to see how far you've gotten. And yeah, Friday is the latest. But yeah, if you can get it Wednesday, that's first prize. And then Dan, we can get these things pumping.
Cool.
All right. Any other questions on plan improvement plans? All right. Moving on to the next individual stuff. We'll have fitness trackers. Fitness trackers are always good to have. It's a fun way to sort of, um, sorry, the fitness challenges are fun. A fitness tracker, we should just get a spreadsheet where people just say what they just log workouts. You know, maybe they're like, hey, I've done sprints today, and then they put it in there. I know the 2023 Wild Dogs had a lack of fitness tracker. Peter, do you still have access to that?
Hi, I should be able to find it. Let me just peruse my old documents. It was quite a nice sheet. Give me a
Yeah,
moment.
that was a good sheet. Yeah. I know I have it as well, but there's just a lot of things on my plate at the moment. And since you have access to it, it would help if you could just,
On
if you
it.
don't mind. Is that, say again?
I'm on it. I shall
Oh,
give feedback as soon as I have it.
perfect. Okay. Yeah, so if we could get something similar to that, just for the wild dogs, we'll do it. We'll have one spreadsheet per region, and we'll just change the names, and then yeah, people can sort of log their workouts there, and that's also a good way for us for people to track their own progress, and for us to also track it as coaches. Anything else you want to add to a fitness tracker? Cool, cool. So, then what I want to jump into is fitness slash throwing challenges. I have two different ones. Hannah has made a cool little template and has a cool announcement prepped, drafted and prepped for Friday for us to get some challenges going. And the name of the game there is to build engagement within regions and between regions on social media. So yeah, there's a little bit of like a marketing angle here as well, a little bit of a vibe angle, but we want to do vibes in a way that makes you better at frisbee. Um, so we were thinking of running them once every 2 weeks. I think I'm mulling over whether we alternate between throwing and like fitness, um, like challenges, like alternating between Fridays. So every 2 weeks you have either, so one week, on week one you'll have fitness, on week two you'll have throwing, on week three you'll have fitness, week four you'll have throwing. Still mulling this over though. Because Hannah, you also had another idea.
Yeah, so if it's going to be every 2 weeks, that would mean that the would need to give people a little bit more to do. So to kind of break down like certain fundamentals that players would need to work on to improve. So like a mental toughness aspect, strengthening aspect, conditioning aspect, throwing, and then to kind of give a challenge that has like all of those components, and then for players to have the flexibility over the 2 weeks to work through that challenge and maybe pair a few of those aspects together with whatever time they have, and to try and get in as many reps as possible. So it's not about doing the throwing aspect 6 times in the 2 weeks. It's about doing the whole challenge maybe at least 3 times, but having the option to kind of pair things together and do what's possible because everybody has different schedules. It might be a bit labor intensive to put challenges together like that because it does require more resources. But yeah, it's if you're focusing just on strengthening for 2 weeks, there are a lot of other things that ultimate isn't just about strength; it's about a whole bunch of things. So yeah, that was kind of like my thought process for it.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Um, yeah. Oh, sweet, Peter. I just got the fitness document. Thank you very much. Um, all right. So yeah. Are there any ideas on the fitness, not the fitness document, the fitness challenges, or just the challenges in general? Does anyone have maybe some ideas? Maybe someone wants to contribute.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was nice to have some workouts pre-structured so that you could say I'm doing this set called home workout 1 or gym workout 2 or whatever, and then to just log that. And I'm pretty sure that that document should also still be around on my laptop somewhere. Otherwise, yeah, I really enjoyed the fitness trackers. It's fun to engage with your teammates, see what they're doing, try to push yourself to do better than they do, and yeah, just also builds nice community. I'll send that home gym stuff to you as well as soon as I find it.
Fabulous. Okay, that gives us a nice starting point, and makes our job a lot easier. Thank you very much for that, Peter. And then yeah, Hannah, you've already made a nice little, like, what was it, like a bingo card type of thing. Um, but yeah, a cool little challenge tracker, and then people can sort of share their challenge tracking there. Um, and we just need to make sure that they tag the RSA Wild Dogs, and then the Wild Dogs can share it on. We can share it on our story. So yeah, we'll be that. We'll do that. Yeah, we can add the workouts to the Notion database, so that it's all in one place. Um, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. While we're here, Dan, in like less than 30 seconds, is the website okay? I checked it and I was like, child, is everything all right on that side? The Wild Dogs website. Yeah, no worries. Okay, cool. Oh, okay, maybe just send me another link because the link on our link tree, it's looking funny. Okay. Um, we did that. Challenges. Okay, now tournament logistics. Um, yeah, guys, what we need to do. Oh, thanks, Peter. Just received that. We need to make sure that we are able to get our teams to the tournament. So some both regions that we've announced have regional managers. And what the manager needs to do is just make sure that teams are able to get themselves to the tournament, and that accommodation is sorted out. Part of the bidding documents would part of the bidding documents asks to sort of find accommodation for us to look at. So we may get accommodation there. Um, but what would be ideal now is if you could just sort of start working out transports for either going to Pretoria or going to Bloemfontein, and then using that to because we're going to eventually vote on which bid, yeah, like should win. Each region is going to have a vote. Then the Wild Dogs administration is also going to have a vote. We'll figure out the weighting of that a little bit later. But yeah, so what you'll probably need for that vote is to understand, like logistically, how possible it is to get to either Bloemfontein and Pretoria, and that sort of informs your decision. And yeah, we can't have a situation where people just can't show up because we couldn't get our act together um, with transport. Yeah, that can't happen. So, yeah, let's just make sure that we're looking at that. We're keeping an eye on that. We're giving people um, just an indication of how much money they'd probably be spending. So if we could start getting ballpark figures, that would be ideal. And then we'll add a player fee as well to that. So anticipate paying for transports, accommodation. Accommodation could include food, so maybe you can get that in your own player fee, and then also the player fee for attending the tournament slash the second round of trials. So yeah, we don't have those values just yet. We still need to get the documents to not the documents. We need to get the bidding criteria to the people that are going to make bids. But the people that are going to make bids are aware that they need to make a bid and aware of dates. Um, I believe, do we have the dates here on the calendar? No, we don't. Uh, the dates for the tournaments will be between the 18th, Saturday, the 18th of Jan, to February the 8th, that Saturday, that weekend. So there's a window of 4 weekends that the tournament can be in. Yes. Um, then, in terms of when we expect bids to be submitted, we'll announce the venue on the 27th of November. So that's when we'll say this is where it's going to be, and that's when you're going to know. We're going to be closing registration for that just before nationals. So on the 18th is when bids are due, and I think we're supposed to open the bidding last week. So we'll open it sometime this week to give people 2 weeks. So yeah, that's just to give you some timelines on the inter-regional tournaments. So just get some costing for transport and accommodation. Do we have any questions when it comes to tournament logistics? All right. Okay, Daniel. No, no, no. Oh, okay. Yeah, so then we'll check. We'll get each region to have a vote, and then actually maybe the administration won't vote. We'll just decide. if it's a tie or something, because yeah, the northern region will sort of also have to decide, but I guess that the biggest decider will probably be the southern region, because yeah, if Pretoria's, I believe Bloemfontein might be easier for most of them because they could drive, they could bus there. So yeah, we'll have a look and see how it goes, but that's good to know. Okay, moving on for the last 5 minutes. Fundraising. So good news, we have one of our regional coaches is like works at the US embassy, so can get discs for us. Um, and yeah, we can print some wild dogs on there. And yeah, that feels like a very good fundraiser. A very nice thing to give people that sponsor us. They can get like a wild dogs disc. So yeah, we're looking at manufacturing discs to sell and potentially to make it like a regional competition, where whoever sells the most discs gets more discs. No, I'm joking. Um, but yeah, like the name of the game is to raise raise as much funds as possible for the campaign. And yeah, this is just a tool that we can use as regional teams to do that. So yeah, would you guys be keen on pushing these types of of fundraising initiatives? And sorry, by that I mean we're probably going to need to buy the discs, right? So we're going to need some financing, and maybe clubs could contribute, I don't know, like 1,000 rand, for example, or like 5,000 rand to get discs in, but then you should be able to make that money back by selling the discs. And then the profits is what you give to the Wild Dogs campaign. So that's how I saw it unfolding, because like we're going to need some funds to just finance getting the discs here. Because our plug can pay for like half, but then we have to pay him back. So yeah, would clubs be open to doing that? Um, yeah, I'm just asking you guys now. What about pre-orders? What do you mean? What about pre-orders? Oh yeah, that's a brilliant idea. That's also a good idea. Oh, on the website. Oh, that's genius. Yeah, yeah. Why don't we just do pre-orders? Okay, that's brilliant. Never mind. Okay, clubs don't need to finance this. We can just do pre-orders. But we're still going to need money. Okay, we'll figure that out. But yeah, keep thinking about it again. Yeah, I know. Yeah, maybe you're right. That's true. I'm just thinking about like actually bringing them in. But yeah, so then, as in like when the discs would actually be brought in is my big question, because we'd obviously need the finances up front. And that sort of changes because the exchange rate, the timing of when we get the money sort of changes. Yeah, yeah, changes how many discs we can get. But I think pre-order is not a bad idea, and we could just follow that. It's probably the easiest one. Um, so yeah, okay, cool. Pre-orders, happy with that. Um, yeah, actually, sort out the payment stuff on the website and tell me when that's sorted out. Uh, then we can choose between getting a sticker that's lower quality, or in inverted commas lower quality, and by lower quality it just means it comes off easier, or we can get foil hot stamps. But one of the issues we found with the foil hot stamps is that the Wild Dogs logo doesn't have outlines. So there's a lot of like solid black lines, so that makes it a bit difficult to actually print. So Dan, were you and Jess able to get the design outlined? Oh wow. Happy birthday. Okay, okay. Um, keep us in the loop. We'll check in on Wednesday. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I hope it was lacquer. So yeah, we'll check in on Wednesday. But if you can get outlines, then we'll consider hot stamping. And if you can't, then we'll just go stickers. So yeah, thanks for that. Cool. I think that's everything that I have on the agenda. Oh, sorry, Hannah's hand is up.
Uh, yeah, so then that also to say that if the logo is impossible, really, you do not have to waste your precious time on it. It's very much a nice to have if we can do the hot foil stamping, but it's really not necessary. I mean, we've got tons of discs that have got the sticker, and it's okay. Like it's really not a train smash. And we could also get a little bit more creative with the design if we do the larger sticker as well. It wouldn't just need to be the Wild Dogs logo. Um, but yeah, see if you can figure out that logo. I really feel like Mitch made it tamper proof. Um, and maybe that was his intention.
I mean, I don't
Lol.
think.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, just
Um,
quickly.
yeah.
It shouldn't be too much of a problem. Like, do you want to do it in the hot foil? Of it, like, it'd be really irritating if we did it, but you had like a plan to do the other thing. But if you are looking to do the outline, we can get it done. So
Okay, get it done. Get it done.
cool.
Let's see. But yeah, if you can't and you're spending more than like 5 hours on this thing, and
Mm,
5 hours is even too much,
mm,
then don't force it. But I
cool.
think the higher quality and the fact that it'll be harder to erase is a nice draw.
Hmm.
But we do also lose colors. So what's nice about the stickers is that we get colors. So I guess I wanted to ask what people would prefer. If people would prefer something that's is harder to like rub out and chip with no colors, or if people would prefer um, max colors, but like you could lose that pretty easily.
Um,
I
my
would.
go for it.
I don't know. I feel like I would prefer it with the color, personally.
From my
Dan?
side, the I find discs with a lot of color really difficult to catch. It's like very disorientating when it's like a heavy sticker. So if it were, I mean, if it had like a few colors on, I suppose that wouldn't be a thing. But like the UCT did the 2016 Nationals in that blue foil,
Hmm.
um, and I really love that disc. It got stolen in October. I'm so pleased. But that was like it was a really nice disc to play with. So personally, like if it's like a nice simple disc, it's a lot easier to actually play with. And then also like it'd be cool to have the disc that you, I don't know, played with in like 20 years ago or whatever and still got the print on. That would be my preference.
Okay. Looks like we're split down the middle. Anyone else have any before we go?
Um,
Any partiality, Josh?
I would go for the stamped. I think it's the colors are kind of gonna fade anyway. Like I've seen our discs recently, like brand new discs, and then the colors like disappear after like a month of being in the sun and playing with them. So I'm not too worried like about colors because after a while it's just gonna be a little faded anyway.
Okay. I think for me, if you are getting the colors, then you're probably not playing with the disc. But yeah, most people want to play with discs. So, okay, we'll push for the hot stamp, see if that works out. And so that will be our first priority. And then from there, if it doesn't work out, we'll just get a sticker, and it's not the end of the world. Okay, I think that's all from my side for now. Just in terms of prepping, in terms of timelines, that's all I really wanted to say for now for the coaches. Just in terms of prepping players on the field. Is there anything that you guys want to ask, want to add, want to, I don't know, say extra points? Go ahead.
I feel like I'm being super irritating. But I had a question that came up. I don't know. What the involvement, like when does the involvement, sorry, the question is, when like when we go to have the trials, the interregional tournament and everything, the team gets selected, what does involvement look like there? Because I am starting to look at next year and plan things and that sort of thing. So I'm just wondering how involved are the regional coaches after January? And I don't know if you have any idea of what that's going to look like.
That's a fabulous question. Okay, so at the regional trials, at the round 2 of trials, we're going to not only select the players that go, but there will also be some coaches that get selected to go on the tour. So I've already spoken to a few coaches. And also, we should also open up applications for individuals that actually want to go to Spain. So yeah, thanks for reminding me. So if you're thinking about going to Spain and you want to be part of the team, we'll have an application form there. Uh, the gist of that is that you're probably going to have to bring something specific because like there's already a coach, an assistant coach, and a team manager. So yeah, you'll probably have to be some sort of specialist. That would give you your best chance. And then after that, how the coaches would be involved is why we're doing it this way in the first place is just from experience on the 2023 campaign. As a regional coach, when I needed to prep the players, I didn't have anyone around to prep with. So it was just like the four of us, and like we had to sort of scramble to find players that would be willing and able to run through training. So regional coaches are still going to be involved in like prepping players within regions in between the tours. Hopefully we get 2 tours. We might only get one, and those will be the times when the team will sort of come together. But yeah, during those times, in between those times, in between tours, regional coaches will be responsible for prepping players. And now that we sort of built the structures beforehand, we'll be able to just sort of carry on the structures going afterwards. So yeah, that's the vision.
Okay, cool. So like similar levels of involvement, or will it kick down?
Probably similar, but it may look a little bit different. Yeah, Marcus.
Again, Tsapo, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it would roughly look the same or even ramp up slightly with a more targeted focus on those players and making sure that they improve. So I think that's what I would think it would look like. Tsapo, what do you think?
No, I agree with that. So I said similar but different, but that was so vague. And it's similar as in you'll probably be using the same personnel, but the difference will be it will be ramped up, and as Marcus says, now it's for the express purpose of prepping specific players, if that makes sense. So yeah, like the players that don't go need to do their best to be the best opposition that they can be, so that they can prep the players that are going. Yeah, I think I saw something cool in Chasing the Sun where some of the players that didn't make the starting 15 for the whole week of practice had to be the best. Like Kobus Reina had to be the best. It wasn't Richie Mo'unga. Had to be the best Aaron Smith to help the Springboks prepare for their final against the All Blacks, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's what the people in the peripheries are there to do after teams have been selected. Thank you. I really liked Chasing the Sun. Trying to be Tsepo Erasmus out here. Okay, cool. Any other questions? Cool. Okay, Marcus, go.
Sorry, last thing quickly. It's less of a question and more of an ask. The players need to be watching more film. That's something I forgot to mention, but yeah, the players need to be watching, not just watching Ultimate, but film study. The two are very, very different. So that requires taking notes, having discussions. And then once Dan and I have gotten the resource up and running on Notion, using the resource and really improving IQ, because we're going to require players to adapt, and not only to be able to adapt, but to adapt quickly. So getting everybody's ultimate IQ up is going to be extremely important.
Yes, sorry, I actually forgot. Watch parties. We need to do watch parties. As the administration, we'll see if we can organize a few more. The next watch party that I wanted was one where we'd be doing scouting. Marcus has developed a scouting report that I want us to get used to using, so that as Marcus says, we become adaptable by, first of all, learning to see what's in front of us. Because a lot of teams, you sort of get beaten and they're just like, they were just faster than us. But there's more to it, so we need to understand, and then not just understand, but be able to make plans and strategies to combat what is happening to us. And just we're trying to develop analytical minds. So yeah, that's what we're going to do with the watch party. And hopefully we can get one a month leading up to the interregional tournament. So hopefully we'll get one before nationals, one during December, one in Jan. If we could get more, that'd be even better. But yeah, that's the vision. Sorry, I actually forgot to put that in the minutes. Thanks for bringing that up, Marcus. That's why you're the assistant coach, Brew. Got your back. All right. Anything else? Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks everyone for being involved. Hopefully we can make this. Yeah, if there's anything I want to say as like an exit thing, our job isn't necessarily just to get better Frisbee players, but our job is to create a worthwhile experience for the individuals that we're coaching. So yeah, just go in with that mindset. Whether you win or lose, just allow people to have a worthwhile experience. Like leave the experience feeling like they've gained something from it. So yeah, thanks very much, and I'll see you guys later.
Thanks, Tsepo.
Cheerio.
Thanks, Ripple.
I had a quick.
Yeah, Dan, if you could just stop the recording.
Yeah.
And yay.
Thanks, everyone.
How do I get a color on my hands? Oh man. Yeah, if you could just stop the recording.
That's racist. Okay.
The wild dogs must be yellow. And